Can I just vent for a second? And if I sound like I'm a dying frog or a croaky horse or whatever, it's true. I went to Imagen USA this past week, and on top of all the information, inspiration, and education that I received, I also came back home with a cold. So anyway, we're here, but I want to talk about the Sony 28-70 G Master lens, that the new one that just came out. I got the opportunity to use this past weekend, and let me just tell you, this lens is filthy. Now, I know that there's a lot of videos out there already, and everybody has been saying that, but also at the same time, I'm one of the unbiased creators. A lot of people have been saying that Sony creators are being paid off to say good things about these lenses. Sony's a cult, Sony's a this, Sony's a that, and it's like, well, okay, well, I'm a nobody. I'm an unbiased guy who went to Imagen USA, wanted to test this lens out, and yeah, like, it's so much lighter than the Canon lens, which I used when I rented it for a street photography video, which I'll post up here if you want to go watch that. Full disclaimer, those photos sucked. It was when I first started photography, but if you want to see the quality that the lens produces, cool, like, go ahead. So yeah, the weight of this lens is crazy. It's super light. And then the sharpness and the image quality you get out of this lens is crazy. So you saw in the thumbnail some images that I got from this lens, but I also want to dive into Lightroom to show you the difference between the Sony 28-70 versus the Sigma 24-70 2.8. Now, you're probably asking me, why do you want to compare a Sigma lens to a Sony lens? Why do you want to compare a 2.8 lens to a f2 lens? And really, it's just because I want to, because I think it'd be fun. I mean, I don't know. There's really no other rhyme or reason to it. I just want to. And if you are a guy or girl who doesn't want to or can't spend $2,800 on a new Sony lens, a 28-70 f2, and you can afford a $1,100 lens, a 24-70 Sigma 2.8, then this video might do you some justice. So you saw a couple pictures that I took already with the Sigma, or with the Sony 28-70. So now we're going to go into Lightroom, and I'll show you some pictures that I got with the Sigma 24-70 and put them up side by side with the 28-70. Okay, so now we're here in Lightroom Classic, and this is two images. The one on the left I took with the Sigma 24-70, and the one on the right I took with the Sony 28-70. So you punch in here and you can just see all the detail, the sharpness, the clarity. Oh my goodness. It is insane on this Sony lens, absolutely insane. And then you punch in on the Sigma lens, and this is really, really sharp too. Now, obviously the Sony lens is going to be a lot sharper, have a lot more detail in this lens, or in the lens, just because of, you know, its optics and stuff like that. But the Sigma lens is no slouch. Now, settings were completely different. Lighting was completely different. This was being lit by, or the Sony picture was being lit by an entire softbox, and had a reflector down here. This one was just being lit by a snoot. What's the other word? Not the snoot, the spotlight. Only being lit by a spotlight, which is fine, but you know, lighting is everything. When you got good lighting, it just adds to all the detail in the images. So I'm gonna pull up another picture that I took with the 28-70, and then I'll pull up another picture that I took with the 24-70 and let y'all see the difference. Okay, this is two more images that I took. The one on the right still with the Sony 28-70, the one on the left still with the Sigma 24-70. So punch in here, you still see the sharpness, clarity, and on that. I think this one, the ISO was at 1,000, I want to say. So you see maybe a little bit of noise over here in like the background and stuff like that, and maybe a little bit on her face. This one, the ISO was 800, so not big difference. But if you know anything about me, you know that anytime I get a lens, I don't shoot at its wide open aperture. So I own a 1.4 and I never shoot at 1.4. If I own the f2, I would never shoot at f2 unless I absolutely have to because of the lighting conditions. But other than that, I don't want to, just because the focus area, I want the whole face to be in focus. If I shoot at 1.4, then only the one eye is going to be in focus and everything else is going to be blurry. Or like a portrait like this, I want the whole face to be in focus. So I think the one on the left with the Sigma I was shooting at like 3.5 maybe. I might have been shooting at 2.8 actually, I'm not sure. But on the f2 for Sony, I was definitely shooting at 2.5, as you see here in the metadata. So here, the 28-70 looks a little bit softer, but take into account there is a lot of smoke and haze being blown around and all these bubbles and stuff like that. So that could be a deterrent or a added factor to focus being quote unquote missed or focus being soft. I don't think focus was missed. If I look somewhere else on the screen, doesn't look like focused anywhere else. Maybe on the hair, I don't know. But still an insanely good lens. And then you pair it up against the 24-70 from Sigma. This still has excellent optics, and this is still a very usable lens for professional work, whether it be high dollar headshots, weddings, anything like that. Like, don't think you need G Master lenses and all these high $2,500, $3,500 lenses in order to get the job done. I took both of these on my Sony A7 IV, so they're both taken on the same camera, and this is the images you're getting out of both of them. So I really enjoyed the optics out of both of these lenses. The head-to-head right here, I do prefer the Sigma, but on the other picture, I did prefer the Sony. So I think it just really depends on, you know, it's a wild card, I guess. Like, you just got to make sure you know what you're doing. But I do like both of these lenses. Now, this is not a video to tell you that the Sigma lens is like better, or, you know, like you should definitely go with the Sigma instead of the Sony. But I just wanted to compare them just because I thought it was gonna be fun. But really, this video was to say, like, from an unbiased content creator, from an unbiased wedding photographer, portrait photographer, the Sony 28-70 is butter. Like, I really do enjoy that lens. But at the same time, it is $2,700-$2,800. So if you can't afford it, there is a viable option in the Sigma that will give you similar results in clarity, contrast, image quality, color accuracy out of camera and stuff like that. So yeah, but I really do like this lens. If you do have this lens, shout out to you. If you are looking to get this lens, hopefully this video kind of inspired you to say, hey, this lens is the right decision. If you can't afford it, might as well go ahead and get it. So if this video was of some value to you and you made it this far, like, subscribe to the channel. There'll be a lot more content like this where this came from. And there will be more behind the scenes of Imagen USA from this past weekend. So if you missed it and want to see what all the conference has to offer, especially on the expo floor, I do have a video coming out with that. You can go to my Instagram. I do have some videos up there from wedding photographers and videographers already. I was able to speak to Michelle Harris. I was able to speak to Ben Davis, and they were able to give some insight on wedding photography and also videography. So if you want to follow me on Instagram and check those out, you're more than welcome to do so. The link is going to be down in the description below. So with that being said, like I said, like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.